Look at the eye of the hurricane going right over Doppler radar. Imminent landfall, and look! This is not a hurricane. This is a land-based weather event. Going right. Look at this. Right over it. Look at this. It's going this way. Yeah, hey Doppler. Oh yeah, we're just telling you what's going on. What a coinky thing. What a freaky winky thing. Your party's over. Get the word out, people. If you don't think this is enough information, then look at what all we've been saying. We're seeing these storms coming over the next rad. Over the next rad. Over the next rad.
10 miles from making landfall means that the American landfall of this hurricane is imminent and will happen in the lower Florida Keys. Not in Key West, but another one of them.
All right, here we go, guys. The storm is being guided, okay, from next rad to next rad. The eye is going right towards the next rad centers. Here we go. Gonna have to re-add that to the edit. Let's see if we just keep ping-ponging from next rad to next rad. So far, every storm takes place over next rad Doppler radar. No meteorologist has noticed? None? Here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, got a little beam. Suck it up, baby, suck it up. That's good for the now. And here we go. We have another one coming right over next rad. This is the third next rad in a row. They are going from next rad to next rad. This is Georgia. What date? September 11th. 6, 7, 8. It's like projecting into the day, I guess, or what? To the morning. And that's what they see it doing in the next few hours. Well, we have a third one, guys. We have a freaking third one. Go back to all the storms you can, if you can. See the tracks. See if they line up with next rad. Let's see how far back this goes. This is absolutely bringing it in over the eye, over the next rad. And for those who would offer up the argument that there are many Doppler radars in operation across the continental US, I would agree that there are, but then I would also challenge you to a game of pool. Because anyone will know there's also a bunch of pool pockets. There's 6 on a table that's rectangular. There's a bunch of balls, and when you break them, you are not guaranteed to get a single one in.
Art, I didn't make any balls on that break shot.
And yet, when it comes to the Doppler radar, you can count on it interacting in a directional line with these Doppler radars when they come into land. They come into a Doppler radar, or they are steered by another Doppler radar. And we can see this with the beams that are supposedly scanning to read the weather. They are feeding the weather. We see this, and we're able to now predict what we're seeing, which is how I was able to predict Alberto's landfall and Irma's second and third landfall hit marks, and Nate's. So October 7th, 2017, this was Nate making landfall towards Nexrad in Slidell, just like Katrina had. And we missed catching a few of the ones in between here, but this is the other Nexrad in Mississippi, Alabama border, pulling off. There he goes. It goes right over the other one. And then here we go. So we had the storm come in, going into KLIX in Slidell, but then it went over here. Now it's going up here. And we're talking about the eye. And so the hurricane did this. It was going up towards KLIX, and then KMOB activated. Or then it went towards KMOB right on the border, and it started going up KBMIX. But I'm like just tripping, right? I mean, it's not really going there. It's like going around there. There's the eye. Going right into it, huh? Right into it. Come on. Right into it. Here you go. Whoa. I mean, you gotta admit, it's the pattern is the odds. Freaking coincidence is almost impossible. He goes right into it. I mean, he goes right into it. This is remarkable coincidence. Every time there's a storm, it's going in towards right for a next ride, unless another one goes, and then it goes right for that one. The formula's getting really predictable. How do they know? Oh, so this is going to be the next area. You better believe it. They would know. Which is what? Which next red are we talking about? This is the community like that. So it's going to be around KHTX, and then what? KMRX is going to take it out, and then KFCX. Catch this shizzle right here. Here it goes, coming for the next one. Wow. Oh, the ring. The ring. As it goes right over KHTX. Okay? I mean, KHTX. So we went from KBMX to KHTX. I for I. We were on KMOB. We were going towards KLIX until KMOB brought us over this way. We're just hopping over next rads, guys. The story continues. Just building it up. Get your lasers on, get the rain. That's interesting. Okay. and Puerto Rico's Doppler radar was taken out by Maria.
So we'll move on to Maria 10 days later. One remarkable piece of good luck. The NOAA weather radio covering much of Puerto Rico and San Juan is held up. And one commercial radio station that just happened to be the EAS station also held up. So when we issued a flash flood warning for any thunderstorm, we were able to get that out from Miami. It would play on weather radio in Puerto Rico, so if you had a battery-operated weather radio, went off, and also went to the commercial radio station to warn the public. And after about a day, we were verifying the public were hearing our flash flood warnings on their radios in Puerto Rico. So that was really a piece of good luck. And there were a lot of flash flood warnings needed. The threshold was very, very low.
Didn't Doppler radar get taken out in Puerto Rico?
That's actually the very next slide here.
Okay.
That's the Doppler radar.
Yeah.
So we were not able to do much with warnings when you have it. It's very, very difficult. So what was our lifesaver? Those 16. We were quite fortunate that we were able to get mesoscale sectors over Puerto Rico. So we were getting 1-minute imagery for most of a month following Maria. With that, I'll answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Are there any other Yes, we have a question.
Hey, sorry. Raphael O'Neill, hello, Liberty Beacon climate science investigative journalist and Katrina survivor, so I know all about the preparedness importance and the consequences of severe weather go on for many years afterwards. And you mentioned Doppler radar and taking out Miami, and I actually knew about Harvey before it was a named tropical depression because I have a friend in the military who said he was told to pack his bags. Then I started paying attention to Irma because I have a little PTSD from Katrina, and I noticed it went right into the Doppler radar. Like the eye of the storm went right into Doppler radar. And then I wondered if it was going to keep on doing that. And sure enough, for 2 others, it went right into Doppler radar. And then Nate, New Orleans was next. And it was coming right for KLIX and Slidell. And then it was sucked from there to the next one, and then to the next one. Then we looked at Katrina, and that was 5 Doppler radars in a row. The hurricanes hopped from one to the other, including the same one in Irma, Puerto Rico. Its Doppler radar had the eye coming right for it. Short of the patents that we found that could actually legitimize the technology that, the weaponization of that, is there any chances that there's inadvertent attraction, like weather modification going on from just the stimulating of the atmosphere and the trying to read the weather? I mean, because we also saw that, I heard, I don't know if this is official, but from my military source, that there was a damage to the Doppler in Houston. It bounced around between 3 Dopplers there. This is concerning, and we would like some answers, and we can't get meteorologists to really answer the questions, so if you have any answers.
So one thing we were lucky with Harvey is the Corpus Christi radar was missed by about 70 to 80 miles, and Houston radar was missed by 40 miles or so. So those stayed up and running, so we were lucky about that. Key West radar, right there, the red dot, at this point the eye was moving north and moved about right there. So this is by about 20 miles, and we actually got quite lucky with that.
Okay, because that's not what
that allowed the radar to stay up.
Because I saw the capture, the capture from the news source showed it going right into it, and that's what I got on my video.
Yeah, this one missed by, it actually drove down there. The worst damage was about right there. And we're lucky with that because Key West radar was missed by about 10 to 20 miles from the worst damage. So
they're still significantly close, relatively. They're not going miles between them. They're going within in that direction.
Thought of what the radar network was in the early 90s, was in the planning stage, and there was a lot of attention paid to putting mini radars on the coast so we could see out far to see hurricanes and get better information. So there's probably a lot of perception over the years that the hurricanes may head right toward the radars, but that's because there's a lot of them now. And there's actually the FAA radars. We have 3 of them in the Miami area. There's 2 in the Houston area, I think.
3 Doppler radars in Miami? Where do you get that from? Not according to the NOAA. And that's not what we're seeing. We're not seeing it going into some other radar. We're seeing it going into KBYX, then went into KYBW, and then KJAX. And we even saw the laser beams going into it. So they're not that close to each other. There's plenty of room for the eye to go here or here or here. It went in here.
Because we got a team researching how many hurricanes are doing this, because it's going in a line. Like if you're playing pool, you know how to kind of line it. Even if it kind of mess, you didn't line it over there or between these two, you're going in that direction, and that's what we're seeing. And then we're seeing it get pulled in the other direction, and it's very alarming.
And in this case, of course, this was moving due north, so I would say that it didn't move toward the radar, it moved by the radar. That's my thought. Any other questions, any folks?
Thank you. I appreciate the.
Good. So I guess we're going right.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. Let's hear for Kevin Scharfenberg.
Okay, so he said some of the worst damage was done on this part of the island, and that's proof that it didn't come right for the Doppler radar. Anyone who's actually lived in a hurricane area knows that the east side is the side that gets the dump of water. It's the worst weather. We had that happen. That's why Slidell got the worst of it. New Orleans got the better of Katrina. So his explanation is completely bogus. Here is the eye. Here is the eye, and here it is going. Watch.
The American landfall of this hurricane is imminent. It will happen in the lower Florida Keys, more likely not in Key West, but another one of.
By the 2018 hurricane season, I learned how to predict the landfall more comfortably and more accurately to a T the night before.
Really? It's monstrous. Ground cloud. Monstrous. Where do you think it's coming from? Here's another one and another one. I mean, they're all just power plant pop-offs. Look at that. That's monstrous. These are monstrous power plant pop-offs. This is not natural booms. What are you talking about? You follow these and you end up at a power plant, okay? And they're doing it all around. It's like you think it's coming off of the water, but there's nothing coming off of the water. Right now, all the air is like Dopplered. Right? All the air is like, no, there's no clouds anywhere around. But then these are billowing. There's just very high altitude cirrus left over, probably from some trails, but all around we have major, I mean, look at this. Major ground clouds. This is not natural water vapor from the ground. It's coming from the ground. These are ground clouds. These are power plant clouds. Okay, guys? Can we add that to the cloud list, to the new cloud list, NASA?
Let's check this out here. Kind of, Doppler's kind of being weak here. It's being. Oh, see, that's fading out. Well, this is getting weak here. They're just pulling it in wide. They're trying to just do something new. We don't even know where the storm is. It's just so big, and it's at the last minute, kind of, not really, and we don't know where to evacuate. Oh, but the military knows where to be or where to get their boys out of. Always, they do. But the people are going to find out at the last minute because they want to do maximum damage, casualty, but this is some weird system. This isn't. I mean, what is this? It's definitely being it's being fed. They're gonna try to just build it, or huh? I mean, it's a lot of water vapor to manage.
All right, so now let's check out. And let's animate, right? Yeah, there's your beam. So they're drawing it into oh, okay. When you're sucking it, it's kind of, there was this. There we go. It's, I mean, you see how that what's reading it and then it's feeding it, right? It's like reading it and feeding it. They're leaving that beam on there. It's got to be heating up the path. See that? Uh-huh. Really. Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back. Man. Wow. Bringing in moisture, bringing in moisture. Well, boys and girls, I had to pull over on the side of the road to finish capturing this. But apparently it looks like they haven't worked on new technology yet or perfected it. So, yes, what I captured yesterday was right. That beam from Alabama is where it's coming into. And you can see it right now. Doppler radar, yet again. Weather coming in the direction the beam is coming. Of course, oh yeah, they're just reading it. They're just reading it. But it's coming in over Doppler radar, okay? It's not coming in over like the area over here. You know, this is not where it's coming in. It's not coming in to the area over there. If you ever play a game of pool, okay, there are pockets on a pool table. There's a lot of them. But it doesn't mean your balls are going to go in them just because you're banging them around. And it doesn't mean they're going to go from one pocket to another pocket to another pocket without bouncing off on some random area of the pool table. So to say that there's a lot of Doppler radars, okay, to say that there's a lot of Doppler radars when they keep making when storms keep making landfall. I mean, no, a storm can go through here. A storm can go through there. It doesn't have to keep going bing, 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 bing. But it does. Okay? I mean, not in a zigzag pattern. But Katrina did this. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was, this is a statistical impossibility. And they've been doing this for a long time. I mean, they've been perfecting it. I think at first they could only steer storms that were actually there. But now they can actually create the storms from beginning, middle, and end. They know where they're sending it. They know where they're sending it before the storm is even on the radar of anybody. And meteorologists are starting to find out that nothing they say makes sense anymore. Because it's weather on demand. It's on location. Doesn't matter what's already going on. The system gets created around the need. All you got to do is pulse these puppies. Flare them up at different times of the days. So, Alabama, if you buy the Doppler radar, you might want to get out of the way if it's not too late, or hunker down and be above floodwaters. I mean, it's going right into it. And you got see this is drawing in that. Drawing it in. All right. I'm on the road. I'm making a movie. I got to keep moving because I got to drive through this puppy. I can only imagine, dear listener, where you find yourselves now. Because I myself, as I am turning the pages of this climate engineering historic research book of an adventure that I'm on to see what happens next, I cannot believe it. And yet, that is where the evidence has brought me to. As I say it, our weather is hacked and our hydrological cycle hijacked. I cannot believe I'm saying that myself. I must be crazy. I must be. But I'm standing in evidence that I'm not. So indeed, if this claim, bold and brazen, were to be true, were I not to be the biggest fool on earth, this hypothesis of mine, based on facts I've assembled in such a light, must have more history to back it up. We went back to Katrina, and we found her to connect with 5 Doppler radars in a row. So we're watching Katrina go to KAMX, and then KBYX, somehow get navigated over the open waters, landing, being steered in by KLIX, going up into KDGX, and then into KGWX before being broken up and dissipating over the rest of the East Coast as various storm systems or whatever have you. Gone. Gone are the days I can listen to the rain falling down outside my window and not think it is an enemy trying to wash us away. Gone. I wrote that in the days and weeks following my return after my hurricane from Katrina. It wouldn't be for another decade, at least, that I would be able to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, how true that sentiment turned out to be. Exactly how many storms interact with how many Doppler radars in a row will be explored and will be revealed. But first, when does this story start? When did the story of wireless directed energy start? come on back next time as we take a time machine and boldly go where no one has publicly gone before.